Now, the educational remedial measure has to be done with lot of repetition and lot of focus. It has to be done across. My daughter was not studying properly. She had a lot of educational issues across. We were finding it very, very difficult to do we found it very difficult to get a proper teacher for her as a person. And we did the remedial measure for Goddess Saraswati, and immediately there was a proper teacher appeared who started teaching her across the person. So, remedial measure, what are the remedial measures which can be used for education? For example, improving the memory of the child. The remedial measure can be used across. From the Mercury, the first lord is used across, and it can make a huge difference into the people's life. I have seen many people have a visual memory. They do not have a verbal memory, and the visual memory has been very, very difficult because they can't remember maths, they can't remember science. There was a lady who came to me and we did the remedy across as a person. She told me her son's educational memory had improved gradually. It was like she went on lighting the lamp for Goddess Saraswati, and she went on lighting the lamp for the people, for the Devata from the Mercury, the fifth lord. It kind of started helping her across as a person. For people who have handwriting as a problem, the third lord from the Mercury becomes very, very important. Then the people can write properly across. Now, many children have handwriting which are very disturbed across, and they find it very difficult to write. In this age of internet, in this age of cell phone across, they find it very, very difficult to write it across. Now, this is a very wonderful thing, and I have taught it to many people across, and it has to be done with the repetition over a period of time. The asana siddhi, that is, the child is not able to sit in one particular place for a long period of time. It is kind of wobbly, it kind of very disturbed across. Then the fourth house from the Mercury becomes very, very important to look into the Devata aspect of it, and we can do the remedies for it. The second house, many people have a problem in the Viva, in the problem in the communication across as a child. So from the Mercury, the second house is being used across to do the communication part of it. The remedial measure done for the second house does produce the impact across. The fifth house is the kind of subjects which has to be used across. Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu is supposed to be the science subjects. The Venus, Jupiter, Moon, and is supposed to be the artistic subject across. So you can help the child to choose the subject across. The sixth house can be done for the obstacles, the difficulties, problem with regard to the education, because sixth house is the house of enemy. From the Mercury, the sixth lord is in the first house, the first lord is in the sixth house. You can be rest assured the child's own mind can be a memory, can be an enemy across. So you have to use it discretionally. And the seventh house normally talks about the law of attraction. They have love related matters, they are unfriendly with people across, they have a lot of difference of opinion, like that is there. And so for that, from the Mercury, the seventh house can be done across. The eighth house is the longevity of the education. Normally the eighth lord Dasa Bhukti actually ends the education, and they have a huge problem with the educational matters across. The ninth house is the guru part of it. Now, to get a proper teacher, to get a proper people across, the ninth house is there. The 10th house is supposed to be the examination, and what action you do in terms of Mercury. It is the examination part of it. Some people have examination fear, some people have examination pressure. They have a lot of things which are very difficult across, so they find it very difficult to perform. The 11th house is the house of marks. And for example, if the 11th lord is done across, the person's mark improves a lot and the person's performance improves a lot. The 12th house is the completion. Many people find it very difficult and very confused during the 8th, 10th, 12th and the college education finishing across. So they get actually very confused across. Now, how can astrology help? Astrology can help like this, but it has to be done with repetition. It can be done with the lamp sadhana. It can be done with the puja. It is one of the best way to do it across. The second one is that of the educational related matters. Is you can do it for a competitive exam like IAS, IPS, NEET or competitive exam has to be done, but it has to be done for over a period of years. It has to be done for over a period of year, at least 1 year you have to do it to produce a competitive examination across. So that can be very, very difficult for many people. The competitive exams can be very, very difficult across as a person. So this can really put off many people. Now for the competition exam, 6th house from Mercury has to be done. We have done for people, it produces result 70% of the time. They are able to achieve their goals and their abilities across. Among the toughest thing is that of the IAS and that of the CA, and it's very, very tough things across. Now many people require the remedial measure supplement, remedial measure help across in this particular thing. And the other one is the finishing of the PhD. For many people, finishing the PhD is very, very difficult across, and therefore they have a huge problem in finishing the PhD. They have the guides who misguide them, and the guide who kind of creates all kinds of obstacles and difficulty across, for which the 9th house and the 10th house has to be done. And we have done for people for completing the PhD, and normally they have a problem with the paper presentation, viva, and then the other thing across which they can complete it across. So this is another area where remedial measure can work with the education. For example, a young child of 5 has a problem with memory, has a problem with the mental things across. It can be done with the remedial measure. A lot of changes can be brought about, systematic changes can be brought about. One of the biggest remedial measure is the Sandhya Vandanam, is the chanting of the Gayatri mantra, where it improves the memory, it improves the mind facility across, and it kinds of creates a lot of ojas and tejas, which improves the will and the strong memory across. In fact, doing the Upasana Homam or the fire worship, which is being done by the Hindus in the morning, by the Brahmins, and also the Samhita Danam is one of the fastest way to stop the mood swing of the children. Many children have a huge mood swing. They get very upset about a variety of things across, and that can be controlled to a very great extent with the Samhita Danam and the Upasana Homam. This has been my personal experience, that after doing the Homam, after doing the rituals across, it has had a massive impact into my mind itself. Now here I'm able to be calm and I'm able to be associated with peacefulness. The smell of the homam, which clears the energy, the mind across as a person, can be used across. But the main devata is Saraswati, Dakshina Murti, and some people use the Hayagriva mantra to do it across. So therefore these are the remedial measures which we have done with extreme success and which can give a lot of mental clarity in the guiding principle across. So I really wish many people will use the remedial measure, which can, for the educational purpose, which can have a massive impact into their children's education across. And this week of a great contribution to the kind of impact it has in terms of remedial measure. And the problem with the people is a modern people, they do work on hard work, but if they were to use the remedial measure, it produces a lot more great results across. Thank you.